Welcome to Ask the Expert. We have Mr. Bouge here, or Mr. Bajoled, if we want to be formal.
Always formal. I'm a very formal individual.
So we sent out a link to students and faculty to ask you some questions. You ready?
Was born ready. However, can I say something?
Of course.
So I think it's a travesty that every single week that I have a student in my advisory that has submitted the same question every single week, and this question has not been chosen, and it's a travesty. So I'm going to set a precedent right now for Moss Perry out there. This is for you. Of what's your favorite bug?
What is your favorite bug?
Well, thank you for asking. My favorite bug is probably a firefly or a lightning bug.
That's a good one.
Yeah, or maybe a dragonfly is also pretty cool.
I love dragonflies.
Yeah, pretty cool. So that's my favorite. And I encourage you, Salem High School, to think about what your favorite bug is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
All right. Can you tell us what theater courses are available at Salem High School?
I sure can. There are 4. There is an introduction to theater class, which is kind of an overview. And then there is an acting workshop, which is strictly acting. And you do all kinds of acting and acting styles. And there's memorization involved because you got to memorize your lines. And then there's also a tech theater class, which has not run in a couple years, but this is kind of a plug for that class so we can get some people to take that class. And then there's an advanced theater class that is kind of a culmination where it's kind of created by the students, which is really exciting and pretty cool.
What are some things about what you were just saying that you don't have many kids in? What was it again?
Oh, the tech theater class.
What would be interesting for people in that class?
Well, you get it's actually like very similar to kind of TV and media. It's very practical. So using materials and resources and actually creating things and like sound, using the soundboard, lighting, using the lighting board, and then working events even, working on shows and kind of being a part of the theatrical process. And I think there's some design thrown in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool program. I'm surprised less kids are in that.
Yes, I know. Kids are so busy with so many other classes, it's hard to fit in those electives sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Lincoln, I'm sorry if I mispronounce this, Freda, and Mrs. Dodge, Mr. Dodge and Mrs. I cannot say. How is it? Kalelis. They want to know who's the most famous person you have ever met.
The most famous person I have ever met. Well, I stood in line at a Starbucks once with Nathan Lane. I met Bob Dole. I actually have a picture with Bob Dole.
What is he from? Like what?
Who's Bob Dole?
I do not know who Bob
He's
Dole is.
an old politician that's no longer with us. But at Saturday Night Live, doing a lot of sketches. I'm Bob Dole. Bob Dole. Bob Dole. Love Little Bouge. But yeah, I have a picture. I have a picture with me and Bob Dole, like 10-year-old me. Yeah. You know, I'm trying to think of like someone really famous, but no, I there's like medium famous people, but that people probably wouldn't know unless you're in a certain kind of.
You're in like their little fan base.
Yeah.
Closest I got, my mom met Fred Durst. That's about it.
Fred Durst.
Yeah.
Oh, I did it all for the nookie. Come on. So you could take that cookie.
Stick it up. No, we're not gonna go.
Love Fred Durst.
I know, me too.
Not really.
Not like a musician, but not a good person.
You know, he's from Jacksonville, Florida.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and I heard this thing once. It was this. It's this podcast actually about 90s music, and of course, Limp Bizkit is like super 90s.
Oh yeah.
And so they were dissecting this, Limp Bizkit catalog of music. And they were talking about, Fred Durst is from Jacksonville, Florida, which is the Florida of Florida.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you could take that however you want to take that. But
I think we all know how we're taking it.
I also heard about Florida. The thing about Florida, it's the place where people go to die.
Yeah. All the old people, they flock down in Florida.
That's right.
Like migration.
Yeah.
right.
Anyway, we digress.
All right. What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, Aliens.
It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, 1986, James Cameron. It's a sequel to Alien. Yeah.
So you're into like sci-fi, that kind of
I
stuff?
am. I love sci-fi and fantasy. My wife calls it metal and trolls movies.
Yeah.
Like anything with metal or trolls, I'm into. It's fact.
That's a good choice. I'm more into like mafia stuff.
I like that stuff too.
Oh,
Godfather, it's great. Goodfellas,
Oh, yeah.
excellent.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Can you tell us about Ranked, about that?
Yeah, Ranked is a musical that is opening on November 17th. Everyone should go. And the reason why you should go, honestly, is it's very relevant to students. It's about high school students, starring high school students, about academic pressures and kind of dealing with academic problems and issues, and inequity in education as well. And it takes place in like a fictional world where your class rank is it determines basically your self-worth. So like the higher your GPA, the cooler you are, or the more popular you are, or the more kind of advantages you have. And it becomes kind of this social commentary on like grades and class rank in our society.
Yeah, I think that's going to be good for people because it's a lot more relatable than a lot of the other like plays or musicals that we come around.
I mean, there's you have high school students that are playing high school students, which generally you don't really see because high school theater generally is doing like they're playing adults doing adult things. But so I think it's really exciting that we can actually provide that opportunity.
Oh yeah, definitely. So a question came asking, what is one piece of theater you think all people should see or experience?
That's a tough question. Just because of its mass appeal, and I think it's kind of cultural significance. I think Hamilton is probably, if you're going to see a piece of theater that checks all the boxes, and I think it's a pretty important piece of art and worthy of someone's viewing. And you can see it streaming, so that's good because you can't, if you can see it live and spend, $1,000, go for it. But,
you can watch it online.
But you can just watch it online, right?
Yeah, I'm not really into musicals and stuff like that, but I watched that and I actually really enjoyed it.
Fun fact about musical, I actually don't really like musicals either, to be perfectly honest. I mean, there's some that I really like, but I prefer what's called a straight play, which is, no music, and just straight up acting. But I mean, musicals have their place, and they're great, but I prefer a straight play. Yeah,
because sometimes I feel like music takes away the seriousness of it.
Sometimes,
but sometimes it helps with it.
Sometimes, yeah.
All right.
But I mean, look at like Les Miserables, right? You can't get more serious than that, and like that's very serious. Yeah. I mean, like very serious. Definitely. Yeah, but then you've got the musical theater comedies, like Bye Bye Birdie, woo, Razzmatazz, SpongeBob, all that stuff. Yeah. Those have their place too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What should we ask next? Renee Hewitt of Chef Brat's Advisory would like to know, what's your favorite play or musical that you have produced?
The one that, my favorite that I've done here, we did an adaptation of T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed that because it was kind of creating something that was different and unique, like taking this poem, and making it into a theatrical piece that was very abstract. And that was super cool. But I also am quite fond of Midsummer Night's Dream in Space, which we did last year, just because it was so funky and weird. And coming out of the pandemic it was just a fun piece of theater to do.
I hate to interrupt you, but we have 20 seconds left.
Oh, no.
For the last question, what's your favorite go-to meal when you're hungry? Go.
My favorite go-to meal when I'm hungry? Burrito.
Perfect. All right. Thank you for coming to the SHS Expert.
This was fun. Can we do a part 2?
Of course.
Great. I'll come back.
That sounds wonderful.
I love talking about me.
It's wonderful. That's
I think this show is great for people who like musical theater. It's something new, it's something that we don't really see that often. And if you don't like musical theater, it's really not like a big, jazzy, big production show that is going to be all up in your face. It's really personal, it's really deep, it's really serious, and I think a lot of people are going to like this one. We have great talent here. The bonds that we've made together through the show are like incredible because we've had a shorter time frame than some of our other shows that we've done, so we've really had to connect with each other, and I think it really shows. By the end of today, you'll secure a place at the top.
I think it's just something different. Like a lot of the times Salem does shows that are happy and like yay, which I personally love, but I think this is just something new and something cool that a lot of people don't get to see, especially in this community, so I think it's something new and fun that people will definitely enjoy.